Hi, thanks for tuning in to Red Dirt Rods. Now today we're working on a C2 Corvette. Now the C2 is the second generation, built from 1963 to 1967. This is a 67 Roadster. When we first started this project, everybody said that the biggest headache was going to be installing the rollover headlights. Now once we got started, we discovered it's actually a little easier than everybody said. We're going to show you the tricks we discovered along the way. Now when we picked up this project, it didn't have any of the headlight components at all. It was missing everything. So we ordered a complete kit from melrosettops.com, and we're going to show you how to install them. Okay, now this is the fully assembled headlight system. We've already put this one together. It looks pretty complicated, but we're going to get this broken down for you. Get this one out of the way. You have two pivots. This is your outer bearing bracket support. This is your inner bearing support. Along with that, we have the Y-stop and the switch. And basically how this works is this will click and tell the motor when to stop moving. You have the bearings. This is the main housing. This is what everything attaches to. We're going to start with the inner bracket. We're going to take the switch here. The switch slides right up in here. And we're going to take the screws, and these screws go right in here, and this is already threaded. So this is pretty simple. Okay, this side here, this is the top edge. Okay, so this is how these will actually sit in the car. Alright, now this is the right hand side. So this will be the outside, this will be the inside. Now your outside pivot comes in here, it's machined. And it slides right in here. Now you're going to take your screws. You need a long reach driver for this. Now these are not threaded. You have to, they're self-tapping screws. So it might take it a second. This assembles with a felt, a locker, the cap, and a ring. So we're going to take this, we're going to install the washer right here. This slides over this end. Keep it all together. Then the felt. Then the bearing. The cap, and finally the lock collar. Now you're going to have to do this all over again once it's on the car, but for basic assembly we're going to pre-assemble it before we get to the car. The motor pivot installs from the outside of the unit. Note this here, that's going to be part of the actual headlight buckets. We mount that there. I like to get one started. The motor side assembles just like the other side. Washer, rubber boot, felt, and bearing. Next we have the retainer. And again, this is gonna have to get adjusted once it's on the car. Okay, here we have the knurling that's on the inside pivot. Now, how this works is the Y-stop has knurling on the inside of it. This slides over the pivot. Now, this will get adjusted after everything's put together on the car, but the little stops will actually operate the micro switch we showed you earlier. Next, we need to assemble the headlight bucket pieces. So here's the buckets, but we don't have any way to attach them yet. So we come here. This is the attachment spring kit. We have 4 posts, a bunch of screws, and a bunch of little plastic clips. Well, each one of those slips over one of these cast posts here on our housing. And we're going to use our cordless here and these screws. Now, the housing has already been tapped, so these just thread right in. Now we have these smaller caps here, and they go on these ends, and that the screw goes into the spring and is then attached like that. Now how you position the little hook on this is important because it has to match up with the headlight bucket. So now that's done, we're going to take 2 studs and we're going to attach them to the headlight bucket. We're going to come in here, we're going to hook right there. There's 2 grooves, a big one and a small one. We're going to use that small one. Hook right there. We're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to drive this in. You don't have to drive it all the way in. These are the headlight adjustments for adjusting up and down and sideways on your headlight. Now, the bottom of the bucket, right here, that's threaded. The top, however, we need to use these little spring clips. So we're just going to drop those on there. Make sure you line them up. We take our bucket. This drops right over the front and over the side. Now, in the kit, it comes with a bolt set, nut set. The machine screws go to the bottom, and the sheet metal screws go to the top. All right, and that's your headlight bucket. Now, I know you're saying, well, it's silver, it's just cast, what's it gonna, I gotta paint this thing. You're right, we need to take this, we gotta go back to the body shop, we're gonna paint it and assemble it on the car.